Hello, and welcome to my presentation on the Virginia Tech Special Collections and University Archives online. This is the digital library for Virginia Tech Special Collections and University Archives. Virginia Tech has several libraries and several digital libraries. I went with this one. It might be the smallest of all the ones they have. But anyway, let's get into it. So the mission for this digital library is rather short. It's only to collect and preserve unique historical materials and provide access to them in their original form. There's not much more info than that on their website, though the digital libraries and repositories and university library system at Virginia Tech has a more in-depth mission, but this is the one unique to the digital library for special collections and university archives. This digital library is primarily aimed at all users, but it's also particularly aimed at researchers, educators, and students of the university and other universities, but it is open and free to the public. This digital library is currently owned, operated, and funded by Virginia Tech. Sure, there are grants that this particular digital library has been granted on account of it being a special collections digital library, but that information is not provided on this digital library's website. The collection development processes and metadata for this website are specially tailored to historical items. Per the digital library's website itself, our holdings include manuscript collections, rare books and records, and publications relating to the history of the university. The collection also contains state, local, and historical maps and photographs. Collections within this digital library contain items such as newspapers, account books, deeds, flyers, films, press releases, and memoirs. There's also some movies in there, and a good chunk of some of their historical materials are related to either the university's history or to the Civil War. Being a Virginia resident, pretty big part of our history. So they have a lot of materials for that there. I should also note the university was founded in 1872, so this was only maybe 7 years after the war ended. So I'm sure they had access to lots of materials. Finally, for its collections and items, this digital library makes use of Omeka and follows the Dublin Core Metadata Initiative for its elements and attributes and descriptions. The library's future plans tie into the university's goals as a whole, so this isn't sort of a goal unique to the Special Collections and University Archives Digital Library, but is still relevant, especially considering this is a major goal for the university as a whole. Per Virginia Tech's library system, this digital library, amongst others under its operation, is, quote, digitizing archival materials and artifacts for new digital collections, including cultural heritage and natural history collections of the university and from around the region. Finally, there are some challenges to the website, and the user experience, while simple, certainly leaves some room for things to be added to it. Items in this digital library are organized by type, subject, theme, time period, location, material, donor, demographic interest group, and theme. It should be noted that on the header menu for this digital library, there is one button that says Browse Collections and another one that just says Collections, and both of those pages are different. So there's two different ways to get to the same thing. Additionally, users only have access to a basic search on this website. For this special library's digital library website, there's no advanced feature, there's no FAQ section, there's no way to contact a reference librarian, like real time. You can only contact administration for this library via email, snail mail, or by actually visiting in person, which may not be the most convenient thing because Blacksburg, Virginia is located way out in the mountains in the middle of nowhere of Virginia. It's not easy to get to. However, users can easily locate the physical counterparts to this digital library's items within the university's library system. Everything's cataloged and its physical coordinate is given on the website. And finally, like I mentioned before, use of this digital library is free and open to the public. On this page are some relevant links to the digital library and some related websites that you might find interesting, including the Virginia Tech University Libraries homepage, the Virginia Tech Digital Libraries and Repositories webpage, and the Special Collections and University Archives webpage. I have this going down in a hierarchical list from the the biggest group to the smallest, which is the digital library in and of itself. I don't think I can access the library from this PowerPoint, but I will figure out how to do that in just 1 second. Alright, so I figured it out. Xbox Game Bar coming to the rescue. So this will be a quick tour of this website, which is the Virginia Tech Special Collections and University Archives Online. This is the digital library for my featured DL assignment. So this is the home page. As you can see, it's not very big, pretty simple. You can browse content by following this section over here on the right. You can look by collections, exhibits, services, and then it provides a short little list of recently added items to the library. You can also search using this search bar up here, or you can browse items using this lovely header menu. Now, what I will mention is that there is a Browse Collections tab and a Collections tab and a Collection Tree tab. You can pretty much get to the same things all three ways. They're just formatted a little differently, but we'll go ahead and go through these one by one. So you can browse items, and these are literally just individual items. So you could probably spend all day looking at this. There's 218 pages, and each page holds 50 items, so that gives you an idea of how many individual items there are in this digital library. You can also browse via collections. This doesn't give you a whole lot of information about what each collection holds. There's usually just a little bit of information here at the bottom, and then you can click this link or this link, which is the collection name, to view what's in it. There are 4 pages of this, each holding 50 items apiece. The last page doesn't hold as many. There are 175 collections total. You can also browse by exhibits. Right now there are 24. These change year to year as different types come up. Since it's April right now, a lot of Virginia Tech stuff is highlighting the shooting that happened a decade or so ago at Virginia Tech. Not all of it, but a lot of it is. It's usually a very solemn time at the university. But they highlight some other things as well. This changes every so often. You can also look at their collection tree. Probably not the greatest way to find things for a new user, but if you know what you're looking at, or you just want to see what the library has all at once, this is a pretty good way to view it. You can also browse via the neat line. It only shows a few things. I'm not entirely sure what a neat line is, but I know it links to the exhibits. Not all of them, but some of them. Finally, we have this collections page where it gets into more specific time periods or subjects or groups, so you can look at these as well. You can also browse items by type. There's quite a few here. I love how science fiction's at the bottom, so that could probably just be any of these items that relate to science fiction. And finally, there's the About page. This is really all there is to the digital library for Virginia Tech Special Collections and University Archives. There isn't a chat feature or a reference librarian tab or any of that. If you have questions about the Special Collections and University Archives, you have to email them or visit them in person or send them a letter. That's really all you're going to get out of them here. But it's a pretty basic website, easy to navigate. Most of these include information about where to find an item if they have the physical item. They do use Dublin Core to catalog their items, and you can click, like, example here is part of, and it will tell you exactly where it is, and then that will probably tell you where in the university libraries you can find this particular item. That's all I have to share here. Thank you again for listening and watching, and best of luck with the rest of the semester, everyone.